If you're like most people, you have a need or have had a need that you want God to meet, and He just seems to be taking His good old time. Well, let's talk about it in your morning cup of inspiration. There's a great story at the end of Acts about a gentleman who is sick in bed. He's on the island of Malta. He is wanting a touch. And he doesn't seem to be getting healed. Well, at the same time, there's a missionary named Paul in Jerusalem. You know about Paul. He would have been released. He was in prison and under arrest, would have been released, but appealed to Caesar and had to go to Rome. Interesting. Had to go to Rome. So he gets on a ship. He begins crossing the Mediterranean. The weather gets terrible. It's the bad time of the year. And wouldn't you know it, they had to pull into a port. Well, they decided this port wasn't good enough for the winter, so they thought they would try to make it further down. So they get in the ship and take off again, and what happens? The storm hits them worse than any of the others had, and they are at sea under the control of the storm for 14 days. At the end of that time, the ship wrecks. All the crew barely makes it to shore, and they land on an island called Malta. Very interesting, isn't it? Because on that island, there's Paul. On that island, there's a sick man. Now, the leader of the island was Publius, and he took these men into his home. So Paul is at Publius's house. Well, who's Publius's father but the man that was sick? Coincidence? I don't think so. God has a way of working everything out. And of course, what happens? Paul goes in, lays hands on the man, and through the power of the Holy Spirit, raises him up from his sickness and heals him. All the other people that were sick on the island of Malta come to be healed. God knows what He's doing in His timing. So I encourage you, whatever you're going through today, whether it's a physical healing, whether it's financial, whether it's relational, whatever it is you want God to do, don't give up. Don't lose sight and not think that He doesn't care, that He's forgotten about you, that nothing's happening just because you can't see it. God is always working behind the scenes and has your best interest at heart. Keep that in mind today as you go about your day. I appreciate you joining me for that morning cup of inspiration, and we'll see you next time.